Good morning, friends and traders, and welcome to the market forecast. I am not John Hoagland, but I am Dan Hodgman. John's taking the morning off, so hopefully you and we can sit down and get an idea what these markets are doing here today. I'm optimistic. I think we're going to have a good day here. I think there's going to be some good opportunity. It's Thursday. It's a crummy, rainy day here in Wisconsin. We got jobless claims coming out, better than expected. I think the number was... pull that one up. Jobless claims, 498,000 actual. They were kind of thinking it was going to be more 533. So moving in a good direction, which is good to see. Tomorrow will be unemployment number. And a common theme I've been hearing a lot of places. I know a lot of businesses here in my own town. Because of these unemployment benefits, they're having a hard time filling jobs that they need. How do unemployment numbers do tomorrow? That's going to be a good question. I'm curious to see how these things kind of factor in over time. So we'll keep an eye on those things. Interesting news is the U.S. right now is talking about backing patent protections or removing those patent protections so that other countries out there can start developing vaccines like Pfizer and Moderna. So they're talking about removing that patent protection there. Moderna says early data showing COVID vaccine is 96% effective in teens. All right, today we got earnings still. Earnings are continuing to roll in. Moderna has posted hits on earning, missed on revenue. Going to be an interesting one today will be Peloton. As we mentioned yesterday in the recap, Peloton has removed or put in a recall for every single treadmill out there the day before their earnings are posting. So earnings will come out today. Could be an interesting one. That stock right now on Tuesday, we were trading right at that $100 mark. You go back just 5 days, we're trading $103 a share. Right now, that market's looking at $82.62. So we've got that one coming on. Rested today, though, no major anything. Fed balance sheet is going to be today at 3:30 Central Time. Really nothing to worry about. Tomorrow is going to be the big morning. I'm excited about the morning, and I'm going to sit here and say this now. I'll say it again on the recap today. Be around for that. See what happens. If you find an opportunity, great. If you don't, start your weekend early. Get away from it. Don't press your luck too much walking into the end of the day. All right, we've got yields are pretty much flat right now, but you are seeing, and you're seeing that show in the 10-year note. Crude oil up a little bit right now. Crude oil not up a little bit right now. We are down just slightly right now. I was looking at the wrong chart there. We're working our way back towards settlement price. We'll take a look at that one here in just a minute. S&Ps, NASDAQ, for the most part, were pretty much unchanged thus far. So that trade we talk about a lot of times when we talk about looking for market to open up, return to settlement price, that trade might not be here just yet. But we may find an opportunity away from settlement price. Or maybe these two stay inside pretty much all day, waiting on the big number tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at these things here shortly. We've got gold trending higher right now. Euro catapulting to the upside. Huge overnight moves. Does that continue in the day session? That's going to be the bigger question. And 10-year note pretty much relatively unchanged. We're continuing to hit this level up above 32.22. We've been there a few times. It's going to be an area to continue to keep an eye on, looking at that rejection. It has rejected about 3 or 4 times over the last couple weeks, so it's created some good opportunity. So that could be a pivotal level once again. We're going to keep an eye on these yields today, which is going to be important if we're trading that 10-year note. Watch the yields. See how those start to react. If we see yields moving higher, look to see notes moving lower, vice versa. But again, that's just one of the factors to keep an eye on. There's a lot going on. We came out early this week. Inflation was the talk. We were hearing questions about that. Possible rate hikes. How is that going to affect? Have we forgotten about that? Has those thoughts already been factored in? There's a lot that can come into play here today. Just because there's no calendar event that says XYZ is speaking on inflation doesn't mean that the conversation might not come up. So it's something worthwhile watching for. All right, and I know everyone's keeping an eye on this micro Bitcoin. There's a lot of talk about it. I have been testing, and I mentioned this yesterday in the recap. Really, the volume's just weak right now. The first day, I believe, was about 8,000 contracts. Second day, 22,000. Yesterday, 9,000. Right now, we got already 9,500 contracts. So once this thing really starts to bring in some more volume, we're going to find possibly some good opportunity with that one. So Euro's up. We've got a lot going on in Europe right now. A couple things that are worth, you're seeing European stocks really take off. They're coming out talking about a huge growth, expectations continuing to surge as life kind of gets back to normal there. So you're seeing the euro pop. You've got AB InBev, European company now really taking off. Great earnings. So stocks over there in Europe are happy, and it's showing over in the euro right now. Other than that, the news is pretty minor. We're going to continue to keep track on these things. It's worthwhile. VIX is still holding right around 19. Again, we still got a little bit of time before these markets open up, so we're going to be patient on those. We're going to wait and see what happens. And again, I'm excited about today. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera today. It's got me looking kind of orange-like. Not totally sure there. I just noticed that. Awesome. Let's go ahead and I want to say good morning to everyone, and then we'll take a look at these charts. Brian Ednelson, Richie B, Lamus, Theodora, Ed, Raven, Murph always coming in with the positive vibes. Vince, Caesar, Subconscious, good morning. Suni, Trader Research, Norman, I got your email. I haven't looked close enough at it yet, but I will. I did get it. It's in the inbox, and I'll take a look here today. Jason, happy Thursday, France. Raven, no, not John's son just yet. I was with John last night, but he'll be here into this afternoon, and should see his big shiny mug tomorrow. Raven, good to see you. Tick, Colin, Mike, Andrew, all right. Keith, good morning. Trading Research, George. Just past step 2 over there, Brent. Congratulations. Way to go. Excited for you. Profiton, good to see you. James, good to see you. Greg, Sharon, Juan, Andrew, Subconscious, Dan. You seem expert on T-bonds. You seem to mention it most of the time. Can you explain? Well, it's the market I grew up in. I used to trade 30-year bond options. I stood in the pits there. Just my history, my family's history are bonds. Relatively close to that market. Always have been from the day I was born. The day after, I should say, I was born. My dad had to leave the hospital. Bonds broke. So just been a market I've been around my whole life. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at these charts, and if you got any questions or anything, make sure you drop them in. I will say this. Normally, I am not setting these charts up over here with dailies on them, so this morning I was not prepared with the daily charts. But John will be out next week, so next week I'll be on all the forecasts, and I will make sure we have daily charts for those. So today, I just want to touch on a couple things, a couple notes that I'm looking at in all these markets really quick on the daily that I'm using in my other charts, which is on my other computer over here. So first things first, crude oil, something just up above to look at on the daily. Keep an eye on that $66. It's been a top multiple times. We're going to continue to keep an eye on that. ES looking lower down below on the daily. The 20 EMA, 20 SMA coming into conjunction right at that 4140. So if that thing rolls over, that could be a good area to keep an eye on for some sort of opportunity, maybe a target down below, and maybe an area to look for an entry point. NQ, here's what I really like. We've seen this sell-off the last few days, and it looks kind of drastic. But if we go back to May 5th, May 25th, and March 4th, or I said, excuse me, ignore what I just said. March 5th, March 25th, and May 4th. If you look at those three lows on the daily, they line up really nicely. So that's kind of right where this market is trading. If you draw a trend line there, that's right where this market is trading. Could be an opportunity if we hold to look to see that market rotate back higher and we start on that directional trend to the upside. If not, if this thing starts to trade below and we start to see some acceptance underneath that, could be an opportunity. Could be a big short. And I don't mean it like the movie, but it could be an opportunity to make a nice short trade. So keep an eye on that one. I'm looking for it to hold right now. We'll see if it holds, and if it doesn't, we're going to make some adjustments. Gold, kind of in this higher range on the daily. I'm kind of keeping an eye on the upside up there at 17.95, low side 17.68. Just an area to keep an eye on, and we'll take a look a little closer on that one. Euro, really don't have much to say on that one on the daily right now. We do know Europe's starting to open up. That's going to help the euro. We may see continuation direction to the upside. And then lastly, I mentioned it already, looking at the 10-year note, 32.22 up above, and we're running our low side at 32 even down below on a daily. Those are things that I'm looking at. So I just wanted to make sure I touched on all our dailies here first. Let's go ahead and take a look at our charts over here on 30-minute charts and see exactly what we've got going on and a couple things to look for some opportunity. Alrighty, starting with crude oil here. Crude oil has very visual right now, right? 7 o'clock this morning, we bounced off that overnight low. Extremely visual. Areas we're looking for opportunity. As market approaches previous lows, we want to find to see if we can get a chance there. So right now, here's what I'm looking at. I'm maintaining a low side down here right at that $65 mark. Really 65 for me. We've got settlement price up above. This market has just opened up. We've opened up away from settlement price right now. We're going to continue to keep an eye on momentum, see if we can get up to settlement price at 65, 63. It's not a huge trade right now. Like yesterday, we were looking at it. This market opened up right at the overnight highs. Great opportunity to take a large short down to settlement price to look for that 70-cent opportunity there. Today, we're not opening up nearly as far. So this one right now is I'm setting up for pretty much a solid range day. I'm really going to keep an eye on the overnight lows and the overnight high. That's an area that I'm going to be looking for this market to trade within. If we start to break out to the upside, where are we looking? Well, first and foremost, up to the upside, we've got point of control 66.40. I like that area. With everything coming out with the numbers yesterday, this market is still kind of all over the place and really not sticking to the fundamentals. In the short term, for this market, when we're looking for targets up above, as we've talked about this a lot, we look at settlement price. Well, where is settlement price starting to line with from yesterday's levels? It's also right at yesterday's value area low. So we have two great targets up above here. I want to continue to see how this market's opening up. We have not picked any real direction. It's really hard right now to get in on this trade to say let's go long up to settlement price because really, where's our point of invalidation on the trade? Point of invalidation is going to be down here near that $65 mark. So we're really willing to take a 30-cent risk in a trade that maybe is going to pay us 30 cents. I'm hesitant right now. I need to wait for some sort of opportunity. So these are things that we want to be paying attention to, even though we do have an idea that a great trade or great opportunity is take along up to settlement price, but because our risk is so great in this right now, we need to be patient. We need to sit on our hands, wait for this market to actually put us in a location that we can take an opportunity to take the short or to take that long. So I really want to stress that one. I can't stress how important that one is. Next, let's go ahead and look over at the S&P 500. S&P 500 right now is trading in a range. We are in yesterday's range. We're looking at some levels. I kind of just threw a simple rectangle on here just so you can kind of see the range that I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at down here, down right around that 41.56 mark, up to about 41.75. That's where I'm paying attention to in this market right now. We have settlement price, write it down, 41.60. Settlement price is 41.60. Market's trading right there. We are going to open up right on settlement price. So first things we're going to note are closing the gap to settlement price trade off the open is outside of our opportunity there. So don't even worry about trading that one. We're right there testing on yesterday's value area. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. If we open up and we see this market start to pop, which, hey, good jobless claims number. Wouldn't be surprised if this thing likes to go to the upside. We got a great opportunity. We're sitting on settlement price. We know that's one of two things, springboard or accelerant right now. If we see this thing start to be a springboard with positive jobless claims numbers, look to see this market rotate right back up to overnight highs. Yesterday's value area high, right near yesterday's point of control. If not, because I want to make sure we're checking both sides of things here. If not, if settlement price acts as an accelerant and presses this market lower, we've got big fat unchecked point of control right down here at 41.40, which, if you guys recall when I was talking about the daily there, 41.40 is where the 20 EMA and SMA are both sitting at on the daily chart. So we've got a lot going on down here at 41.40. So two great things to be looking for in this market. We've got both directions covered. Now as traders, we're going to have to really pay attention to how this market opens up and what it's going to present. I think both are good areas to look for some opportunity. Next, let's go ahead and look over at the NQ. NQ, right now, it was a little bit ago, it was looking like it wanted to open positive. Got positive jobless claims numbers. Things were looking good. Thought we may see positive open, but this thing continues to press lower. But just like the S&P, here's what I'm paying attention to. We're coming to check overnight lows. We've checked them. We're down there. We've traded near them. Is that an opportunity? That's what I'm paying attention to off this open. I'm keeping an eye on that because just like the S&P 500, we have information down below that's unchecked. Point of control, unchecked point of control down here at 13,434. We've got information down below that if this market extends lower, it's going to be a great area for some opportunity. And if we get below that, we're just keeping an eye on that prior swing low. We're always watching those prior swing lows. And this is that point I was talking about as well when we're looking at the daily here. I do have a daily chart. See if we can kind of, just to show you guys what I was looking at here, my other charts. We're starting to show this market catching multiple times. And if once we start to see 3 points of contact, that's when we're starting to get a little bit more validation in a trend line. Right now, we're starting to show this market may be looking to spill over. If it does, like we said, what did I just do? Charts kill me sometimes. I get lost in them. All right, so that's what we want to keep an eye on. Now, if this market rotates to the upside, I'm still expecting right now, is my mentality going into this day is I'm trading range bound in these markets. I'm not looking for huge breakouts just yet. I'm trading range bound, especially knowing that big information's coming tomorrow with employment numbers. So right now, if this market starts to rotate higher, we're just looking right at yesterday's value area low up to yesterday's point of control, which happens to be overnight high. So just to not touch on these levels, value area low, 13,540. We're just going to round it up, 542. And point of control right here at 13,560. And we got the overnight low high right up here at 13,570. I think right now we're going to open up in a good opportunity, right? I think whatever direction this market starts to move in the overnights or right off the open, we do have two areas to look for some sort of target if we decide to get in. All right, next, let's get over to the gold. Let's expedite things here as we are starting to get closer to the equity open. All right, so like I mentioned, 1795 just continues to be this rejected top up above in the gold market. Well, we saw it off the in the overnight session, rallied to it. We broke down. Once again, tried the rally right before the open, and it has continued to break down. So now this market has opened up. We're still just doing a little bit of pullback and a directional move. We have not shown this market rotate lower, but a couple things we want to keep an eye on. We're going to have to continue to watch how this 95 rejects or accepts. Does it reject the market and send it back lower down towards something like settlement price down at 1740, 84, 30, $1,784.30. Oops, I'm off a little bit there. Or do we start to find the acceptance up above? That's what we're going to have to pay attention to as this market continues to react at this price. If we start to break through, we got a lot of potential to the upside. This market could really start to go. But right now, I'm going to be watching, seeing if 95 does reject. And if it does, we're looking down towards settlement price, which is yesterday's value area high. All right, next, looking at the euro. Euro off to the races here in the overnight from the overnight session. Markets opened up, started to give a little bit back so far. Does that mean we're going to end the day and this thing's going to do like it does so often, overnight rally, breakdown during the day session? Well, if we continue, if we do get the breakdown and it really sells off, I want you guys to note settlement price 120.09 even, 120.09 even down below. Make sure you got it on your charts. At this point, just because you guys know, I talk a lot about taking the trade off the open down to settlement price. We're a little far right now. That would be a big sell-off. We know the history of this market tells us a lot of times we get, big overnight moves. Day session gets a little choppy. Something to be cautious of. So right now, I'm looking to see maybe if we can get just a little higher. Unchecked point of control up above at 120.74. 120.74. It's kind of an area to keep an eye on up above. And then start to define some range on this market. Historically, that's what happens during the day session. This market falls into a little bit of a channel, into a range, and that's why I tend to avoid trading the euro during the regular trading hours. Next, looking over here at the 10-year note. 10-year note opening up right on settlement price, 132.17 half. 132.17 half is settlement price. Write that one down if you're trading this market. And like I said, 122 up or 32.22 up above has been rejection multiple times in this market. We've seen that rejection in the overnight session. Let's go ahead and keep an eye on those yields. Yields at the moment pretty much flat. The 10-year note pretty much flat. I'm going to keep an eye on those yields. If the yields have rotated a little bit, we were slightly negative. Now we're slightly positive. If we continue in this positive upside direction, you're going to see settlement become an accelerant. We're going to see the market run down towards point of control from yesterday, 132.14. If this thing starts to flip, if we start to rotate this market, 10-year note or the 10-year yields start to tank, we're going back to check that 22 area. Remember, when you're trading this market, it's very imperative that you stay patient in it. Your stops are tight. It's not a big directional market. It's not getting off to the races all the time. Very rarely does it get huge directional moves. So if you're trading anything in the treasuries, you're keeping your stops tight. You're being patient with them. You're being selective in your trades. You're cutting those losses fast. Even if the market ends up going in your favor, take that quick loss. Look for the next chance. All right, guys. Got a couple more minutes till the open. Awesome. Raven, good job. Buy the dip till it doesn't work. One of these days, the music will stop. There you go. Nick, you're welcome. Awesome, Norman. Well, yesterday was a big day. Take it easy today. don't risk what you made yesterday, and also don't come in today with the expectations that today is going to be like yesterday. New day. All right, guys, editing, you're welcome. All right, everybody, I'm going to sign on out of here. I'll be back this afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Time with the market recap. I hope to see all you guys there. Otherwise, trade smart here today. Take your time. Wait for those opportunities. Only trade those A setups and cut those losses quick. On that note, I'll let you guys all get to it. Stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. I look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.